Well, we're fortunate enough for Ryan Curley to join us poolside as we get ready for the Dogs in Michigan playing in the Orange Bowl down here in Miami. So, Ryan, today with a lot of questions for Dan Lanning about, and the players generally speaking, you would think they're playing Alabama again. That was the one thing that I noticed more than anything else.
Yeah, lots of questions about Alabama, but that doesn't really surprise me. It's a game that's still kind of looming. Hopefully, it's not looming for them. If you're heading into this game, it's a fresh mindset. You're playing Michigan. You're in a new atmosphere. This isn't the SEC championship. If you want to play Alabama again, you got to win this game. Yeah, here, a little.
Look at the poolside. Look at this guy going poolside. Yeah, so listen, we'll get practice a little bit later today. Chris Smith was not interested in talking about his knee situation. Lewis Seen was not giving any details as it relates to the COVID testing. Um, so a lot of very quiet Georgia Bulldogs today. Jordan, uh, a little bit the same way. A lot of questions looking backwards, not as many looking forward. Michigan is only a 7.5 point underdog in this game. I mean, Georgia can totally lose this game. But the one thing I noticed, Ryan, as I throw it back to you, Georgia didn't mention Alabama once. It was all coming from questions from us.
No, they didn't. They didn't. And that's something that, pleases me to hear as far as that they're moving on. That's something I've beat the drum on. I've been yelling this for weeks now since that game is they got to look forward. Something like that happens, you got to move forward. And I like the mindset that they have going into this game against Michigan. They seem relaxed. They seem focused. I can't remember who it was, but one of them said their energy is reset. I think it was N'Kobe Dean. They had an energy and focus reset. Is similar to the way he worded it, and I think that's positive for the Bulldogs coming in here with that statement. And it was all defensive guys today. They
Right.
didn't seem to be too phased with Lanning being split between Eugene and Athens.
That was an important discussion point today too. Was how much time is Dan dealing with Oregon, and the answer is he's dealing with it a lot, I think, but it's at a different time of day. He said that the fact that Oregon's on the Pacific Coast allows him to spend the bulk of his time during, I guess, Eastern time with Georgia, and then at night, if you want to call it that, he's dealing with the Ducks. But there is plenty of time. Kirby showed that you can do this and play well in the national championship game. Mark Richt had a harder time doing as such. Boy, the pool sounds really lit. But hey, man, we're in South Florida. Ryan has told me he's got to get his tan on, and
Yeah,
we're just barreling towards this game. What are you expecting from practice today?
I mean we're gonna get to watch a small period of it, right? 15, 20 minutes, something
Right.
like that. Um, it'll be interesting to see who's practicing and who's not practicing. As far as something we're gonna have to look for is how affected is the team by COVID? Is that something we're gonna really get a peek at today? But energy is the number one thing.
That's
Is
exactly
are
right.
they, are they coming out wanting to take people's heads off? Is that the energy that's gonna have? Are they going to have a practice like a few weeks ago when Kirby Smart was not pleased with their Monday and Tuesday? What type of? It's your first practice in Miami. What type of? How are you going to set the tone for the week? And
Really,
like you've mentioned multiple times, it could be anybody.
yeah, anyone can set the tone. This thing's gone the way I thought it would. They practiced yesterday in Athens. I about said Atlanta, and then they came down here. They've been, I don't want to say hanging out since, but they've been doing their thing. A couple of them did the bowl activities. It's very, I mean, there literally is not I do not see a cloud.
There's not a
Um,
single cloud.
but I'll tell you this, man. It was uh, it was almost 80 in Athens yesterday.
Yeah,
So
no, Georgia's been warned a lot. So Christmas Eve, Christmas, and then yesterday, the last 3 days have been warmer. But you come down here and you tack on 10 to 15 degrees. I mean, it's warm. We ate breakfast in the
right.
sun, and that was a lot. I like to have my winter season. I like to have my dose of the cold. This is weird. It's weirding me out, but it's fine. We're dealing
So
with it.
a couple of questions
Michigan,
today.
do you think that's going to affect Michigan? That's a lot of people's question.
That's what I was just going to transition to. Everybody's focusing on that for Michigan, like the weather, the weather, the weather. Hey, I mean, it's you get
It's
a
football,
week.
man.
Yeah, you get
It's
a week to
football.
get used to it. I'm just not sure this is going to bother Michigan in a way it's going to matter. I wanted to swing back to the who's practicing thing and give some insight. Make sure you're going to dogpost.com, checking out everything that we write about. Later today, we'll have Leggy's thoughts, not just here, but premium stuff for members on our growing um, community over at Dog Post. And this is one thing I'll talk about, which is, we don't seem to. I know I I don't want to overdo it. I know more than the general fan, obviously, but I'm not certain I have a complete understanding of who's testing when. And are we still? My understanding is that we're still under the SEC protocols for this past year, which is that, and if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But this is my understanding, is that if you're vaxxed, you're not getting tested unless you have symptoms. And today, Lewis Seen said 98 to 99% of the guys on the team are vaccinated. Okay, that's step one. Step two is my understanding is that the college football playoff teams have accepted the protocols from the conferences. Well, if that's the case, Ryan, um, 98 to 99% of the scholarship guys at Georgia, that's going to be maybe two or three players that would be tested consistently because they're not vaccinated. I just I don't want to simplify things. And then the behind the scenes thing is there are people inside the program that say, well, it's to people that we know, and not talking about what you just added to this thing, but what I know is that they don't seem to think it's a big deal. So there's this may be I don't want to see it's hard because it's hard to say, oh, this is nothing bad is going to happen. I'm not aware that people should be worried that something bad is going to happen as far as COVID is concerned. I mean, this is the first time, Ryan, in my years of covering games, Sugar Bowls, this is the third time I've been in the Orange Bowl in a media capacity, that we're talking about stuff besides what's about to happen. Alabama, COVID, all this stuff. The focus has typically been on can Georgia beat Michigan and vice versa. This seems to be everything around it is totally different than that. And Georgia and Michigan are going to have to focus on what they have to do to win.
There are a lot of outside factors, lots of noise for both
Lots.
programs. But if what Lewis Seen says is true, and I think it is, because I think even Kirby Smart said a few months ago they were at least 95% vaccinated, correct?
Hmm.
So if that's the case, you're talking about a handful of players,
I
and
don't even know if it's a handful.
they're not getting tested. So I don't see there being a huge issue there, COVID related, as far as some sort of outbreak. Anything can happen, but the fact of the matter is, I just don't think they're going to be tested.
I was going to
And
say anything
so,
can happen if you're testing, but if you're not testing
yeah,
because you're vaccinated, it lowers the probability.
yeah. And so, I don't know who is and who isn't vaccinated. I don't know who the minority is there, but it does seem that there's been so many just drama outside of the actual game of football. You got the vaccine. People are talking about the weather. People are, you got the Alabama game. There's all sorts of just drama that has nothing to do with the Orange Bowl. And how are these? They're kids. None of them are older than 22, 23.
I think
How are they going
Stetson's,
to handle
what,
this? He's probably
29?
one of the oldest ones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Drawing Social Security in a
So
couple of years.
he's been he's been around, but
Not like
how
you
are
at
they
this
going?
pool,
They
though.
just gotta
This is
focus.
Well,
Oh
but the
man,
question
just
is
gotta.
too, man, is here we are, and we're running out of time too. See, and I told you it'd be bad, and so far it's not been that bad. But time is a real issue in all of this stuff. And today, Georgia's not practicing weather like this either. It's been closer. It's just not been quite like this. It's going to be 81. Both teams are practicing at about 1 o'clock, so they're getting close to their typical time. One thing Kirby talked about last night in the brief amount of time. He only went for 2 minutes. That is talking about practicing during the day and playing at night. Listen, I have just full disclosure. I've gotten both vaccines, booster. I wear a mask in public and indoors. Um, but the worst part about all of this is, we're not being able to talk to Kirby for the period of time we typically do. We didn't get Dan Lanning for an extended period of time today, and understandably to some degree the Orange Bowl went with national reporters first. Well, we're down here. I mean, and if those reporters wouldn't necessarily be down here, they can jump on from Dallas. So we're not getting the same attention to the minute details that are going to make up what this game will be. Dan Lanning is calling plays in this game. Everyone's saying that nothing has really changed. No assistant coach has left the program. They're all still there. Um, there's been a lot of reports about JT Daniels not about him testing positive for COVID, but by my math, he'll be cleared for that game because it's going to be 10 days or 7, depending on CDC. So we're rolling in this game. Ryan, the line went from about 8.5 to 9 down to 7.5 when the Georgia thing came out about the COVID uh, with JT. But JT starting to me was unlikely. I don't know that it was
The,
impossible.
the that surprises me. That surprised me when that went down because
Well, what's
we
changed?
think it's going to be Stetson, so nothing's
Well,
really
yeah,
different.
right.
And our intel is that it's going to be Stetson. So
I don't
why
think
would that
we're
change the line?
exclusive
Are
in that.
people
We're
free?
not exclusive in that.
No, no, we're not. It's not. It's the reality that a lot of people don't want to accept, and that's the situation we're in. And it might be wrong. I think
It's
that
not going to be wrong now. If we go out
it's
there
for
today, shaking my finger at you like a Middle Eastern dictator, if we go out there today and there's no number 18, well then we know who the starting quarterback is going to be. I mean, they're not going to wait forever to uh, to prepare for this
especially if
game.
he has a setback where he's not practicing this week. No, he's
He's
not playing. No
But dude,
way.
Ron Corson ain't gonna be playing any games. I mean, like if you've got it, the issue is okay. So just to be clear, the issue for me is not do you have it and will you spread it. The issue is do you have it and can you perform? Because if you have a flu or a cold or whatever, I mean Baker Mayfield dealt with what was described as the flu for the Rose Bowl 4 years ago, whatever that was, and that was the subject of conversation the whole week. And did it affect him? My thing was, it's not going to affect him at the beginning of the game, but it might at the end or in the middle after the halftime. Well, he was a lot worse after halftime. So to me, what happens is, can you isolate the people that need to be isolated? Obviously, they've done that from all the reporting from guys Chip and Jake and those guys. Uh, uh, JT wasn't around the other day or for the landing, but we can't know. I mean, we don't know what we don't know. And if JT needs to play in this game, he's just got to be ready to play, man. Practice, no practice. That's it.
He's going to have to be ready in case his number gets called, but we think it's going to be 13. And so
Yeah.
the line thing doesn't make that much sense to me. Unless they were more concerned that there was an outbreak on the team and that's going to affect them in a major way. But I don't think that's the case. The, at the end of the day, the betting line means nothing to the two teams, and so
No,
it's
but
it's a it's a
it's an
fan favorite.
indicator, and
It's
it's
a
another
topic
thing.
of
It's a
conversation
topic of conversation. It is a
and a
predictor.
predictor. And what the original line was, what, 6-7, and so it's
No,
ticking
I
up and
think
down.
it's
It's
been
not,
it's been 7.5, but it started. The momentum started
but it
going,
started going up.
and I think the
But
people
we're back to square one then. So I mean,
right, but the
they're
people in
favored
Vegas
to win
thought
the
it should
game,
have been closer to 9.
which is what it was getting to. But the
Right.
COVID thing brought
Right.
it back down.
Right.
I mean,
We don't
I
know.
don't really understand that, but the line's the line. It's who's going to be on the field, man, and
Well,
it's
and that's
probably
what
going to be
affects the
Stetson
line
Bennett,
is they thought, hey, what if the quarterbacks can't go for Georgia? Something like that. But um, it doesn't seem that way. Understanding what I'm understanding about Stetson Bennett, I would be, and I don't know, I would be completely floored if he's not vaccinated, considering both of his parents are pharmacists. So that would be shocking to me, I would say. But whatever. And if not, you better mask up, man. Like these crazy quarterbacks in the NFL, they just wearing masks on the sideline. You're outside. Like it's like there no one. Anyway, how's the pool?
who's nice. We got some children out here, maybe
Yeah.
families of media members, but
Oh, there you
cool in
go.
the shade. It's cool. I don't know where you went. I
What do
actually
you what do
don't.
you need to see at this practice?
I need to see them coming out firing from the jump. Even if it's just stretching and warm ups, I want to see high energy. I want to know that you want to win the game and that you are not sore thumbed about the Alabama game a couple weeks ago.
Oh, I don't. I think the biggest thing you don't want to play this game on Monday and Tuesday. You do not want to play this game on Monday and Tuesday. You want to play it on Friday. So today is your traditional Tuesday practice on Monday. So that will be what we'll watch. So today is the heavy day for Georgia. and we'll just see how it gets. So we'll stay tuned to dogpost.com. I hear Ryan's having friends over at the pool right now. We'll see you over on the website.